Here you go, baby. Make sure you get some of this mac and cheese.
Oh, it looks wonderful, honey. Daddy, can I have some more?
I thought tonight's family dinner would be just like any other loud, warm, and comfortingly predictable. My wife, Nadia, had been a whirlwind of activity all afternoon. She seemed unusually excited, almost jittery, glancing at her phone every few minutes. I casually asked if she was expecting someone else. She just smiled and said, no, it was just family. But then the doorbell rang, way too early for my parents or my sister. I opened it to find a man I'd never seen before. A coworker, I figured. When I called Nadia's name, she came out of the kitchen, and the moment she saw him, she froze. All the color drained from her face. Something cold and heavy twisted in my stomach. Just then, my parents arrived, and the house filled with noise and laughter. Mark blended in seamlessly, charming everyone, especially my mom. I watched Nadia all evening. She wouldn't meet my eyes. She just kept her head down. Mark sat next to her, way too close for a casual guest, his hand finding her arm whenever he spoke. I tried to convince myself I was just being paranoid. During dinner, the real nightmare began. Mark started dropping inside jokes, little details that only Nadia and I should have known. I saw my sister shoot me a questioning look from across the table. The air was getting thick. I couldn't breathe. She asked, her voice laced with false concern. I looked her straight in the eye and asked why Mark was here. She whispered that it wasn't the right time to talk about it. So I asked the question I was dreading. How long has this been going on? She told me I was overreacting. And that single phrase told me everything I needed to know. We went back to the table. The tension was unbearable. A few minutes later, Mark, oblivious or maybe just arrogant, raised his glass for a toast. He thanked Nadia for inviting him into her family space. The word family hit me like a physical blow. I couldn't stop myself. I stood up. The clatter of my chair scraping the floor silenced the entire room. I looked directly at Mark and asked, "What, exactly, is your relationship with my wife?" Mark just smiled that smug smile and said, "Oh, we're very close." I pressed him. "Clarify close," I said. He chuckled. "Well, weekends are our favorite time together," I heard my mother gasp. Nadia burst into tears, begging me not to do this. I looked at her, the woman I had built my life with, and said, "You already did." I turned back to Mark. "Leave my house," I said, my voice dangerously calm. He actually laughed, saying Nadia wanted him here. That was it. That was the final straw. "Get out, now." My father stood up beside me then, his presence a silent wall of support. Mark's smirk finally faded. He muttered something about me being dramatic and stormed out. The silence he left behind was deafening. Every eye in the room was on Nadia. She completely broke down, admitting through sobs that it had been going on for months. One by one, my family quietly gathered their things and left. No one said a word to her. No one defended her. When we were finally alone in the wreckage of our home, I asked her why. Why would she humiliate me like that, in front of everyone who mattered to us? She said she felt alive with him. I told her feeling alive shouldn't destroy someone else's dignity. She begged me not to end things. I just looked at her and said, "You ended this the moment you let him walk through that door." That night, she slept in the guest room. The next day, I packed a bag. She followed me from room to room, apologizing through endless tears. I told her that trust can't survive a public execution. She asked if we could fix it. I just shook my head. Some things, once they're shattered this completely, don't go back together. Weeks later, the divorce papers were filed. Our friends slowly learned the truth. And Mark? He vanished from her life the second things got real. She tried calling me, texting me, saying she'd made a terrible mistake. I told her I wished her healing, but I couldn't offer reconciliation. The house is quieter now, but it's also lighter. Family dinners are peaceful again. Through all this pain, I learned that respect is worth more than pretending everything is okay. I learned that boundaries are what protect your soul. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to just walk away. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more.